The alarms did not scream. They whispered. That was the first sign something was wrong. Grix, the cargo pilot of the freighter Silverwake, felt it before he understood it. Strange stillness settled over the bridge, like the universe was holding its breath. Stars stretched too long outside the viewport, and the gentle hum of the jump drive stuttered once. Twice. Then space snapped. The ship was ripped out of faster-than-light travel so hard that gravity slammed everyone into their seats. Crates in the cargo bay broke free. Lights flickered. Somewhere deep in the hull, metal screamed. Stardust. Grix shouted, claws gripping the controls. No engine failure, Xena said, her long fingers flying over the console. Her eyes widened. We were pulled out. Forced interdiction. That word froze the bridge. Pirates. A massive shadow slid across the viewport. A warship, Kugli, armored and bristling with weapons, moved into position like a predator blocking prey. Its hull markings glowed red. The car syndicate. Grix swallowed. Everyone in the trade lanes knew them. They didn't ransom ships. They harvested them. A harsh voice crackled over the comms. Civilian vessel. Power down. Open your airlocks. Resistance will result in disassembly. Xena's breathing became shallow. They outgun us, 10-1. Grix already knew that. He also knew something worse. Their security officer wasn't on the bridge. Where's the human? Grix asked quietly. Xena hesitated, still in the cargo corridor. He said something about a loose stabilizer. Grix felt a twist of fear and irritation. Humans were strange hires. Too soft-looking, too loud, too reckless. Useful sometimes? Yes. But unreliable. The pirate ship fired a magnetic clamp. The Silverwake lurched as the clamp bit into the hull. A boarding tube slammed against the side, like a hammer strike. Boarding in 30 seconds, Xena whispered. Grix opened the shipwide channel. All crew, get down. Do not provoke them. The bridge door hissed shut as automatic lockdown. Engaged. Heavy footsteps echoed through the hull. Then screaming. A short scream. Cut off fast. Xena flinched. That came from the cargo corridor. Grix's mind raced. The human carter had been down there alone. He imagined broken bones, snap necks. Blue pirate blood on the deck. He should never have hired a human. The pirates forced the bridge door open. With a hydraulic whine. 3 of them, Entital, scaled, their armor layered and scarred. Weapons glowed with charged plasma. The leader smiled, showing too many teeth. On your knees, it hissed. Grix complied. Xena followed, trembling. The pirate leader leaned. Close breath, hot and foul. Cargo first. Crew later. A distant thump echoed through the ship. The pirates froze. Another sound followed. A deep, metallic bang. Like a door being ripped from its hinges. What was that? One pirate snarled before anyone answered. The ship's lights went out. Total darkness. Something moved in the corridor outside the bridge. Heavy, fast. A pirate barked an order and fired blindly. Plasma scorched the wall, filling the air with heat and smoke. Then came a new sound. Footsteps. Slow.com, coming closer. Hey! Low voice echoed through the dark corridor. You picked the wrong ship, mates. The pirates spun toward the sound. One fired. The shot never landed. There was a flash brief. Violent, and the pirate flew backward, slammed into the wall, armor shattered. Another pirate lunged forward. He never finished the step. Something struck him with a wet, bone-crushing crack. He dropped without a sound. Xena stared, frozen. As a shadow entered the bridge, emergency lights flickered on. Carter stepped into view. His face was calm, focused, almost bored. He held a human-made weapon, crude, mechanical, patched together from parts that did not belong together. Smoke curled from its barrel. His knuckles were bleeding. His jacket was torn. Behind him, the corridor was painted with pirate blood. The last pirate raised his weapon, hands shaking. Carter looked at him. Just looked. You should have run, Carter said softly. The pirate fired. Carter moved. The sound that followed was loud, final. An absolute silence fell over the bridge. Xena realized she had stopped breathing. Carter exhaled slowly, then turned to Grix like nothing unusual had happened. Bridge secure, he said. We've got maybe 2 minutes before the rest realize what went wrong. Grix stared at him, heart pounding. You killed them? Carter shrugged. They boarded us. Outside, the pirate warship began repositioning weapons. Carter glanced at the viewport and smiled small. Sharp, dangerous. All right, he said. Now the fun part. The pirate warship shifted outside the viewport, its weapons glowing brighter as power surged through its hull. Grix felt cold spread through his chest. They're locking on. I know, Carter said calmly. He moved to the pilot console and slid into the co-pilot seat without asking. His hands did not shake. How fast can this ship turn if we dump cargo mass? Grix blinked. You want to what? Answer fast, Carter said. Because if we don't move in 10 seconds, we stop existing. Xena checked her screen. Panic. Sharp in her voice. Weapons charge at 80%. Grix swallowed. If we eject half the cargo, we might get enough torque to break the clamp, but we'll lose the contract. Maybe the ship. Carter nodded. Better than losing your lives. He slapped the intercom. All crew, brace. Emergency maneuver, incoming. Without waiting for approval, Carter reached over and pulled the manual override. Cargo alarms screamed. Deep! In the ship, magnetic locks disengaged. Crates slammed free. Massive containers blasted out into space. Spinning like debris in a storm. The sudden loss of mass snapped the freighter sideways. Grix reacted on instinct, gripping the controls and pushing thrusters hard. The ship twisted violently, gravity screaming as inertial dampeners struggled to keep up. The pirate clamp tore loose with a sound, like metal ripping apart. We're free, Xena shouted. A beam of plasma sliced past the hull, so close, the viewport flared white. They fired anyway. She cried. Carter leaned forward, angle us toward that debris cloud. Grix hesitated. That's suicide. They'll hesitate, Carter cut in. Pirates like clean kills. Fly messy? Grix obeyed. The Silver Wake dove straight into the spinning field of cargo containers and shattered metal. Sensors screamed as targeting systems lost lock. The pirate warship fired again, but the shots scattered, detonating uselessly against drifting debris. For a brief moment, it worked. Then the pirates adapted. They're deploying drones, Xena said, voice tight. Small shapes spilled from the enemy ship fast. Angular deadly. Carter cracked his neck. I'll slow them down. You can't go out there, Grix said. That's vacuum. Carter was already standing. I know. He grabbed a mag clamp harness and snapped it onto his chest. Then opened a locker and pulled out something that made Grix's blood run cold. A heavy breaching charge. That's not for space use. Grix snapped. Carter grinned. Most things aren't, until they are. Before either of them could argue, Carter cycled the airlock. Zina shouted, "You'll die!" Carter paused at the door and looked back at them. His eyes were steady. "If I don't," he said, "you will." Then, the airlock opened and he was gone. The bridge fell silent, except for alarms. Grix watched in horror. As Carter's suit mag clamps latched onto the outer hull, the human moved with controlled precision, crawling along the freighter's spine. While laser fire stitched past him, one drone swooped in. Carter kicked off the hull, twisted in open space, and slammed the breaching charge directly onto the drone's body. He pushed off hard. The explosion lit space like a second sun. The drone vanished. The shockwave knocked Carter spinning, but his tether held. He slammed back against the hull, hard but. "Alive?" Zina whispered. "That's impossible." Another drone lined up. Carter didn't retreat. He waited at the last second. He jammed a metal tool into the drone's intake and let its own engines tear it apart. 2 drones down. The pirate warship fired again. A hit. The freighter shuddered. Hull plating ruptured near the cargo ring. "Life support breach!" Zina yelled. Grix felt panic clawed his throat. "We can't take another hit." Carter's voice crackled over comms, strained but steady. "You won't have to." He unclipped something from his belt. A small device. Old, ugly, human. "What is that?" Grix asked. Carter didn't answer right away. He slapped the device onto the hull, aligned it carefully, then pushed himself away. "Human emergency gift," he said. "Tell me when you're clear." Grix understood without knowing why. He gunned the engines, pushing the Silver Wake hard. "Clear," Zina shouted. Carter triggered the device. Space warped. The pirate ship's sensors screamed too late. A localized gravity spike collapsed inward, crushing drones, shredding weapons, and tearing open the pirate ship's forward hull like paper. The warship didn't explode. It broke. Chunks of armor peeled away. Systems failed. Fire bloomed inside vacuum-sealed compartments. The pirate ship drifted dead. Carter reeled himself back to the airlock. Movements slow now, exhausted. When he finally stumbled onto the bridge, helmet coming off, he collapsed into a chair. Zina stared at him like she was seeing a myth. Grix's voice shook. "What? What are you?" Carter laughed weakly. "Human?" Outside, pirate distress signals echoed into space. And somewhere far away, someone powerful was listening. The pirate ship drifted in silence, broken and burning. Its distress signal pulsing like a wounded heartbeat in the dark dot inside the Silver Wake. No one spoke for several seconds. Grix finally broke the silence. "That device you used? That wasn't standard tech." Carter wiped sweat from his face. His hands were shaking now, the crash finally catching up to him. "No. It was illegal in 3 human sectors, and theoretical in 6 more." Zina stared. "You just collapsed gravity." "Briefly," Carter said. "Very briefly. Long enough to ruin someone's day." Grix swallowed. He had flown with mercenaries, smugglers, even war veterans, but never anyone like this. Humans were supposed to be weak, fragile, loud, dangerous in accidents. Not in control. Yet Carter had just turned a losing situation into a victory with scrap tech and stubborn courage. The ship's sensors chirped. Zina leaned over her console. "We're not alone." Grix's stomach tightened. More pirates? No, she said slowly. Alliance patrol? 3 signatures. Military grey. Carter straightened despite the pain. How far? 2 minutes at their speed? Grix cursed. They'll see the debris. They'll scan us. And the pirate ship, Xena added, and the gravity spike. Carter closed his eyes for half a second. Then we need to look harmless. That's impossible, Grix snapped. We're missing cargo, leaking atmosphere. And surrounded by wreckage. Carter opened his eyes. I didn't say safe, I said harmless. He pushed himself up and limped toward the engineering console. Kill all weapon signatures. Dump the rest of the ammo. Power down shields too. Civilian levels. Xena stared. That leaves us defenseless. Yes, Carter said. Which is exactly how we want to look. Grix shook his head. Alliance doctrine doesn't trust ships that survive pirate encounters without help. Exactly, Carter replied. So, we won't look like we survived. We'll look like we barely escaped. The Alliance patrol dropped out of warp. 3 sleek cruisers fanned out. Weapons charged, scanning everything. A cold, official voice filled the bridge. Unidentified civilian vessel. This is Alliance Patrol K-17. Power down engines, and prepare. For inspection, Grix complied, hands steady, despite the fear crawling up his spine. This is cargo hauler, Silverwake, he replied. We were attacked by pirates. We lost most of our cargo, and barely escaped. Silence. Then, we are detecting anomalous gravitational residue. Grix's pulse spiked. Carter leaned close. Say nothing extra. Let them draw conclusions. Xena whispered, they're scanning the pirate ship. It's passed like hours. Finally, the Alliance voice returned, colder now. Pirate vessel disabled. Crew status unknown. Another pause. Civilian ship. How did you survive? Grix hesitated just a fraction too long. Carter spoke instead. Luck? And pirates fighting over salvage. The lie slid smoothly into place. The patrol commander considered this. You will be boarded? Carter stiffened. That's bad. 2 Alliance Marines arrived minutes later, tall and armored, eyes sharp. They moved through the ship with efficient suspicion. One stopped. In front of Carter, scanner humming. You, the Marine said. Species, human, unregistered tech exposure. Carter smiled faintly. I get that a lot. The Marine's eyes narrowed. You're injured. Occupational hazard. They finished the inspection. The report was filed. The patrol left. Only after the Alliance cruisers vanished, did Grix sag back into his seat? We're alive, he breathed. Xena laughed weakly. By every rule of probability, we shouldn't be. Cutter sat down heavily. That's kind of our thing. But the calm didn't last. Minutes later, the ship's com flickered on its own. An encrypted signal punched through their systems. Clean, powerful, unmistakably military. Grix stared. That signal bypassed our firewalls. Carter's expression hardened. Which means someone very good just noticed us. The screen filled with a symbol none of them recognized. Then, a voice spoke. Measured, dangerous. Human operative, Carter Hayes. This is Strategic Command. Carter closed his eyes. We have been observing your actions, the voice continued. Your improvisation, restraint, and effectiveness. Xena whispered. They know you. We require clarification, the voice said. You are not listed. As active duty, Carter swallowed. I'm not. Then you shouldn't have access to the tools you used. Silence stretched finally, Carter said quietly. Then maybe you should ask why I had to use them. The voice paused then. That is exactly why we are calling. The symbol shifted into coordinates. There is another situation, Strategic Command said. One where diplomacy has failed. An overwhelming force would cause unacceptable loss of life. Grix felt cold creep into his bones. We believe, the voice finished, that you are uniquely suited to solve it. The transmission ended no threats. No orders, just an invitation. Carter leaned back, exhausted. Xena looked at him. You're not going to say no, are you? Carter didn't answer right away. Outside the viewport, the stars burned silently. Humans. Don't say no, he finally said, when innocent people are about to die. The Silver Wake changed course without announcing it to anyone. Grix did not like that. He watched the new coordinates glow on the navigation screen. Far off the normal trade lanes, deep in contested space. Those coordinates are not civilian safe. They're not meant to be, Carter said. Xena folded her arms. You didn't answer the real question? Carter glanced at her. Which one? Why would Human Strategic Command contact you? She asked. You said you're not active duty? I'm not, Carter replied. Not anymore. Grix slowed his breathing. That was not comforting. Carter sighed and finally sat down properly. I used to work in a unit that handles problems other species don't like to look at. Gray zones, civil wars, situations where winning fast creates more enemies than losing slowly. Xena's eyes narrowed. So, you fix wars quietly? I try to stop them from becoming massacres, Carter said simply. The ship dropped out of warp on the edge of a red-lit system. Xena's console lit up with warnings. Planet below. Heavy atmosphere. Multiple cities. Orbital weapons online. Grix stared. Why would anyone build cities under active guns? Because the guns aren't theirs, Carter answered. A transmission cut through. This time, the image appeared. An alien commander filled the screen tall, armored, sharp-eyed, surrounded by officers. This is Coalition Marshal Varric. State your purpose. Carter stepped forward. Human civilian operative Carter Hayes. We're here about the blockade, Varric snorted. Humans again? Always late. Always opinionated. Xena blinked. He's heard of you, Varric continued. This planet has refused Coalition authority. We will force compliance within 12 hours. Grix leaned forward. There are billions of civilians down there. They chose resistance, Varric said flatly. Carter's jaw tightened. No. Their leaders chose resistance. The people didn't vote for orbital cannons. A ripple of irritation moved through Varric's officers. You have no authority here, Huon Varric said. This is Coalition law. Carter nodded slowly. Then let me ask you something simple. When you fire, what happens next? Varric frowned. We restore order. No, Carter replied. You create 10 more rebel groups, teach children to hate your uniform, and turn this system into a permanent war zone. Silence. Carter continued. Give me 6 hours. No weapons. No threats. If I fail, you fire. If I succeed, you stand down. Varric laughed. And why would I trust a single human on a cargo ship? Carter leaned closer to the camera. Because? If you don't, you'll spend the next 50 cycles fighting ghosts. The Coalition Marshal studied him, eyes cold. Finally, Varric said, 3 hours. One city. You walk in unarmed. If violence breaks out, we fire anyway. Deal, Carter said instantly. The transmission ended. Xena stared at him. Unarmed? Carter stood. I'll need a translator, local maps, and access to their leadership. Grix rose as well. Absolutely not. You're not going alone. Carter smiled faintly. I am. That's the point. The shuttle descended into the city. No escort, no shields. Crowds filled the street, angry, scared, desperate, banners burned. Sirens screamed. Soldiers watched from rooftops. Carter stepped out slowly, hands open. Weapons tracked him from every direction. A local militia leader pushed forward, shaking with rage. Another enforcer? No, Carter said calmly. Just a human. The militia leader blinked. Human? Yes, and I'm here to make sure none of you die today. The crowd laughed bitterly. You can't stop orbit, someone shouted. Don't need to, Carter replied. I just need to stop you from giving them an excuse. The leaders argued, shouted, threatened him. Carter didn't raise his voice once. He listened. For hours. He listened to stories of lost homes, broken promises, stolen resources. He listened to anger and fear. And then he spoke. Every revolution starts loud, he said, and ends quiet. The question is how many graves are dug in between. A woman stepped forward. They'll kill us anyway. Not if you don't give them a reason, Carter said. You want independence? You need legitimacy, not blood. Outside the atmosphere, coalition weapons charged. Time ran out. Carter tapped his cum. Strategic command. I need leverage. Silence. Then a reply. Granted. The city's screens turned on. Footage appeared, coalition leaders approving secret resource theft. Illegal executions, suppressed data. Gasps rippled. Through the crowd, Varek's face appeared next, furious. You crossed the line. Carter looked up at the sky. No, I revealed one. The militia lowered their weapons. The crowd went silent. Varek hesitated. Minutes passed. Finally, the orbital weapons powered down. The blockade lifted. Carter sat on the ground, exhausted. Xena's voice crackled in his ear. You did it? Carter closed his eyes. Not yet. High above, new warp signatures appeared. A known, aggressive Grix shouted through the cum. Carter! Something else is coming! Carter! Looked up at the sky. Of course it is, he muttered. The sky above the city changed color. Xena saw it first from orbit. Long blue scars tore open the darkness as massive ships dropped out of warp too sharp, too fast, and far too many to be random. These are not coalition, she said, fingers flying over her console. Design doesn't match any registry. Grix's voice tightened. Unknown fleet. Weapons hot. On the surface, Carter felt it before he saw it. The ground vibrated, not from fear or panic, but from power. People looked up together, the way crowds do right before history breaks. A low voice echoed through every screen, every speaker, every translator, implant, at once. Attention, local population. This system is now under protectorate claim. Carter exhaled slowly. Great. The vultures arrived early. The militia leader turned to him. You said the weapons were standing down? They are, Carter replied. That doesn't mean someone else won't try to take advantage. Xena cut in, overcomes. These ships belong to the Ravel Dominion. They don't negotiate. They absorb. Grix added. They are known for rapid pacification. Entire cities disappear. Carter stood up. Then we don't have time. Above them, a smaller craft broke from the fleet and descended fast, slamming into the outskirts of the city with deliberate force. No attack yet. Just a message. A second transmission followed, this one, visual. The Ravel commander appeared tall, silver-skinned eyes like cut glass. Local leadership. Surrender immediately. Coalition authority is irrelevant. Resistance will be erased. Fear rippled through the crowd. The militia raised their weapons again. Carter raised his voice, not shouting, but steady. Don't! They looked at him. Listen to me, he said. This is exactly what they want. Pangaea. A single shot. One excuse. The militia leader's hands shook. They'll kill us anyway. Carter nodded once. Maybe. But if they do, let it be after they expose themselves to the whole galaxy. He tapped his cum. Xena. Can we broadcast system-wide? Xena hesitated. Yes, but it will include them. Good, Carter said. That's the point. He turned to the crowd. You asked why humans fight differently. This is why. The broadcast went live. Every channel. Every frequency. Carter stepped into the open, standing alone in the center of the city square. My name is Carter Hayes, he said calmly. I am human. I am unarmed. And I am speaking to anyone watching this system. The Ravel commander sneered on screen. Bold and useless? Carter continued anyway. The coalition came here with force. We stopped them without blood. Now another power has arrived to do worse. He gestured around him. These people are not soldiers. They are farmers, workers, families. The Ravel commander interrupted. Emotion is irrelevant. Then so is fear, Carter replied. Which means this will be recorded. Xena understood instantly. She opened every external sensor, every visual feed, every archive relay. The whole galaxy watched. Carter spoke directly to the camera. If the Ravel Dominion attacks this city, it will be seen. Unedited. Forever. The commander's expression hardened. You think exposure will stop us? No, Carter said. I think it will cost you. The first Ravel ship powered weapons. Then another. Then stopped. A new voice broke, in older, sharper. Commander. Stand by. The Ravel commander stiffened. The new figure appeared. Human, the voice said. You are interfering in matters beyond your scale. Carter met the gaze. That's what everyone says. Right before they regret it. Silence. Xena whispered over comes traffic spike. Hundreds of observers joining the feed, Grix added. Neutral fleets, diverting. Coalition forces returning to orbit. The older Ravel voice spoke again. If we withdraw, what do we gain? Carter answered without hesitation. Time, reputation, and proof. You can choose restraint. Another pause. Finally, the Ravel fleet began to pull back slowly, deliberately. Cheers erupted in the city. Carter sagged slightly, adrenaline draining. Then Xena's voice sharpened. Carter, there's a problem. What now? The coalition isn't standing down, she said. They're repositioning. Grix added, Marshal Varak just issued a new order. Full occupation. Carter closed his eyes. So much for lessons learned, he murmured. He straightened and looked at the crowd. This isn't over. The militia leader swallowed. Can humans stop everyone? Carter gave a tired smile. No. Then his expression hardened. But we're really good at making bullies fight in the open. High above, weapons locked again. The galaxy watched, and someone was about to make a very bad choice. The first shot did not come from the sky. It came from silence. Coalition ships drifted into attack formation above the planet, their hulls shining with confidence. Marshal Varak believed fear was enough. He believed pressure always worked. He was wrong. On the surface, Carter stood very still. The crowd behind him had gone quiet. Not the quiet of panic, but the quiet of waiting. Xena's voice came through the cum, low and urgent. Coalition channels are lighting up. They think the Ravel withdrawal made them look weak. Varak wants to prove dominance. Grix added, he has authorized ground deployment. Not orbital strikes. He wants control. Carter nodded once. That means cameras, troops, orders. He looked up at the sky. Good. The first coalition dropships screamed through the clouds and slammed into the city outskirts. Soldiers poured out armored, disciplined, confident. They advanced in perfect lines. Varak appeared on every screen again. This planet is under coalition authority. Any resistance will be neutralized. Carter stepped forward, alone. He activated the broadcast again. Marshal Varak, he said calmly, you are live across 12 sectors. Every move you make will be remembered. Varak sneered. You think visibility protects you? No, Carter replied. I think it limits you. Coalition soldiers reached the city square. Weapons raised. Orders waiting. A child cried somewhere behind Carter. That sound echoed louder than any weapon. Carter turned slowly, showing his empty hands. You want control? Then take responsibility. Varak's voice sharpened. Advance. The soldiers hesitated. Not because of fear, because no one was firing back. No riots, no gunfire. No resistance. Just people standing, watching, recording. Xena's voice broke in. Carter, human networks are rebroadcasting. Earth, Mars, civilian worlds, veterans, media. Grix added quietly, neutral councils are requesting explanations. Now, Varak shouted, advance. A single coalition officer stepped forward and lowered his weapon. Then another. Then a whole line. Varak froze. What are you doing? The officer answered, voice steady. Sir, orders conflict with coalition charter. No hostile action observed. Varak roared. They are defying us. Carter spoke softly. No. They're obeying the rules you forgot. The moment broke. Coalition command channels exploded with arguments, legal reviews, political pressure, internal dissent. Then the final blow landed. A new transmission cut through everything. Earth Command. A human admiral, appeared grey hair, calm eyes. Marshal Varak, she said. This broadcast has been archived. Earth formally challenges coalition occupation of this world. Varak snarled. You have no authority? We do, she replied. Because your own soldiers just proved it. Silence. Then retreat orders. Coalition ships began to pull back. Not fast. Carefully. Like an apology they didn't want to say out loud. Cheers erupted across the city. People collapsed into relief. Some laughed. Some cried. Carter finally sat down. Xena exhaled in orbit. It's over. Grix shook his head in disbelief. You defeated 2 powers without firing a shot. Carter looked tired. No. They defeated themselves. I just held up a mirror. Days later, the council chambers filled again, but this time, humans were invited to speak first. Not as observers. As equals. The militia leader stood beside Carter. You could have taken power. Carter shook his head. That's not how humans win. Xena smiled. Then how do they? Carter thought for a moment. We survive long enough, he said, that everyone else shows who they really are. Across the galaxy, analysts replayed the footage again and again. A human standing alone, unarmed, unafraid. Not because he was strong, but because he understood something ancient. That real power isn't how fast you pull the trigger. It's how many people are watching when you choose not to. And from that day on, whenever a new species entered galactic space, someone always asked the same question. What are humans like in war? The answer was simple. They fight so well that they made rules to stop themselves.